Hi everyone, this is Comics from the Multiverse, DC Comics podcast, the Mail Fuzz podcast network. Is my epic intro voice sounding better or lamer than usual? I don't know.
Somewhere in between.
Somewhere in between.
And you forgot to say what episode it is, like usual. So
I'm trying to shake it up. I don't want to phrase it the exact same way every time. I think part of being a good host is being able to shake things up and thinking your feet and say it differently.
Excuses.
That was intentional. I deliberately went out of my way to not do it the exact same way.
to be fair, he did throw me a curveball on the TV podcast.
Yeah,
There you go.
I did that in streams last week with Tim as well. So I've been making a conscious effort.
I'm sure Tim took to that very well.
The difference was before they were like full on curveballs, where it was like, "Whoa, you throw me in at the deep end here," whereas this was just more like, "Did you just forget?" So it was too subtle.
Well, next week I'll make sure I make it more impactful.
That's fine. Matt
Right.
can deal with that.
Yeah, because you're not here next week because you're away for Star Wars celebration.
Oh, look
yeah.
at you.
You nerd. All right.
You're outnumbered here. Don't get started.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of nerds, we're here to talk about comic books and DC Comics specifically. This is episode 7 of the show, and we had another full week of DC Comics from the Rebirth line, which is nice because last week was really depressing. I mean, I had to talk about the New 52, but we're back to full whack this week. So this week we are going to be talking about Justice League Rebirth issue 1, Batman issue 2, Superman issue 2, Green Arrow issue 2, Green Lanterns issue 2, and Aquaman issue 2. A lot of issue 2s. It is the episode of number 2s, which makes it sound like it's going to be full of shit. I'm happy to say that's not the case.
That was last week.
That was potentially last week, yes. So, we're going to start with Justice League Rebirth issue 1 because it's the new one, it's the new book. And, of course, this is written and art by Bryan Hitch. He's not going to be doing the art on the main series. Tony Daniel's going to be stepping in for the art on the main book once it gets going. But for the one shot, for whatever reason, he's done both. Which probably has something to do with his other Justice League of America series that wasn't finished, just kind of indefinitely being delayed.
That's probably why it wasn't finished.
Yeah, it's like,
Because he is notoriously slow.
Yeah, and they gave him something else to do. I mean, why would you do that? But no, so Justice League Rebirth issue 1. What did we think? What did we think, fellas?
It was all right.
I agree with that sentiment. It was alright.
If it was any more than $3, I would have been upset.
I bet, you know what, I'm going to go beyond alright, actually. I'm going to say I had fun. It was nothing special. I mean, the villain, the plot was as generic as you could possibly have it. And there was a couple of rough patches, which I'll get to. But the characters interacting was fun. I liked the two new Green Lanterns, like, making their entrance and stuff like that, and their interplay with the team. I enjoyed Lois and Clark's scene together.
Yeah, that was the best part, when they kept cutting to Lois and Clark and how he's going to handle this. So
Yeah, and how
I
he
definitely think Hitch got the voices for him.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, the thing with the Lois and Clark scene for me was just them making the decision that he should intervene and be part of the Justice League. I thought it was cool. It's one of the character things. I think there's a lot of shippers that have all came up very quickly, and they've started shipping Barry and Jessica because of a couple of lines in this book. But to be fair, both of them are kind of cool. Jessica saying that Flash is nice, but Batman skills when she's talking to Simon about the team, and then later on, like Flash going, "Oh, green stuff. Jessica must be here," and then Simon's like, "She's not alone." And then at the end, "Oh, Jessica, you did really well, dude. I'm right here."
right.
So I mean, yeah, like I had fun. Like it wasn't great. There's a couple of, for me, I thought Superman's entrance was really weird.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just kind of happened in the middle of a page.
It's almost like they don't acknowledge it enough.
Yeah.
Or there's like a page missing, you know?
Yeah, because the Green Lanterns have their entrance at the top of the page, and that's led into it properly from the previous one. But then, like, Superman's just there, and I'm like, it feels like there should have been like a page before this teasing that he was about to like burst in.
Yeah.
I feel like part of the problem might be down to this being a rebirth issue, and he's trying to get the team together, but he obviously the thing with Superman showing up is you should have their reaction to it.
Yeah.
But I think he's saving that for the actual first issue.
Yeah, I agree with that. 'Cause, I mean, there's the scene on the Watchtower with the team talking about Superman,
Yeah.
which I did enjoy. Again, the character dynamics seem right. I think one thing that's sticking out for me across Rebirth as a whole is that it feels like a universe again.
Yeah.
It's coherent.
And I feel like that's there in this as well. So I think the story's very generic, but I do like some of the moments. I like the shot of them all like standing together. A couple of the faces are a bit weird in that panel, but
I'm not a
Yeah.
Hitch fan in general, to be honest.
Yeah.
No. That's what I thought too, is the art. If you're going to have a generic story, at least knock the art out of the park.
yeah, it's,
And the art's just kind of blah.
yeah. Speaking of like inconsistencies, like Jessica looks way different than she does in anything else,
Yeah.
including the front cover.
I think it'll be fine once we get Tony Daniel on. He looks like he's putting out some great work for this stuff, and I think he's a great artist. Not so much as a writer, but I think his art's great.
Yeah.
And even if it is a fairly generic and standard Justice League story, it can still be fun. But if they keep the voices like this,
Yeah, well, that's what I got from this. I got this is not going to be an important story like Superman. It's not going to be something like original or different like some of the other books. It's just going to be fun team stories. Because I mean, really, this is kind of a weird Justice League book in the sense of the way it was pitched during the whole like, announcements, and that this is not the flagship title. It sounds like it should be because it's Justice League, but it's more like. No. We'll be getting to like some big events, things down the line where we're going to have them all in these high stakes situations. The book for now is just going to be fun sort of romps.
it
with
kind of
them.
feels like it's the rebirthization of his JLA book.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather than the flagship Justice League book.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of a better word, but the only one I can think of is disposable. Like, it's not. Whereas when the New 52 started, the Justice League was the flagship. But before that, Justice League was just kind of there.
yeah.
And this is where it seems like it's returned to. But we also have JLA, which this is what's weird, is why take Hitch off of JLA, put him on Justice League, turn Justice League into JLA, and then hold JLA for later.
Well, I mean,
There might be a good reason for that. We just don't know yet.
Yeah.
'Cause we
Yeah.
don't know anything about that.
yeah, we don't know who's on
Right.
that book. We don't know what that ties into, or what this. We don't know anything about it. For all we know, that could just be like a lie. That could actually be JSA, but they just didn't like. They didn't want to tell us that at the
No.
time. Like that. I mean, they've said so little about that book, other than there's a JLA book coming at some point. you know, so
So that's just, I feel there's more to it. But, I mean, for it to be just like Pete was saying, a romp kind of a book,
yeah.
that's fine. There's room for that in this universe.
I think so. Because I had fun with this issue. Like, see, when I was done reading this, I was like, yeah, that was nothing special, but I had fun. I didn't regret reading it.
It'll probably always end up at the bottom of my to read pile if it continues like this, sort of just being a bit of a romp.
Yeah.
But it'll always be there.
Yeah, the only reason I read it first this week was because it was a Rebirth book.
So
Same with me. It was the new one, so I
Yep.
put it at the top of the pile. But I think, like, I'm actually, I want to sound positive about this because I feel quite positive in that I was kind of expecting worse than this, and I'm like, you know what? The art gets a little bit better when Tony Daniel steps on board. If it just keeps being fun and the character dynamics work well, like, I'm kind of game.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
I have a question. This Wonder Woman lightning bolt thing, that's new, right?
Yes.
yes.
I felt like I'd missed something. I was like,
I feel like we're going to get it in Rucka's year one
yeah.
type deal.
probably. But I
Because-
felt like I was missing something. I was like, this is new, right?
It's funny
Yeah.
you say that because it was it's in the preview for one of the next Wonder Woman issues,
Yeah.
and I think that was out before the issue came out, and I seen that, I was like, what the hell? What is this
Yeah.
lightning bolt thing? And then I read
I
this,
mean-
I'm like, oh, lightning bolt thing.
Yeah. I'm not adverse to it,
No,
I
it's
love
kinda
that
cool.
cover.
Yeah. It's,
So, and Wonder Woman should have a magical weapon that's not just a lasso. Like, she should have something that's,
And I like that it relates to her stuff with Zeus.
yeah.
yeah, it ties into her whole thing. So hopefully we get more of a,
Explanation.
That's what I was going to say, but I was looking for a better word.
There isn't one.
I guess there isn't, but explanation just sounds like I demand an explanation for this. Where I just like hopefully we get a bit more context. I guess.
Yeah.
They explore it a little more.
Yeah. To like give it a bit more meaning, I guess, rather than just having look, she's got a new thing now that no one's explained or like.
Yeah, it just kind of came out of nowhere. I was like, this is new.
But if it's set up in the year one book, then it makes sense that she's already using it.
Yeah.
Or it could even be set up in the present day. It's just that this is
it's a set after.
set after. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just went with the year one because it's going to explore her origin. And if they are sticking her being the daughter of Zeus instead of just, a mud baby from Apolloda, then it playing well.
Yeah, my only theory is why hasn't she been using it the last few years then? Like, why?
Timey-wimey.
Yeah.
Timey-wimey, and there's been lies and things have changed and she's...
Yep. She's learned how to summon it.
I'll take it.
Yeah, she forgot.
God.
I mean, she got her old costume back, or more or less her old costume back, and she remembered. It was like, oh hi, I can summon lightning bolts at my arse.
No, a page of her calling down the lightning, like almost Shazam style.
Oof.
But then she goes and picks it up.
That would be
That's
cool as
cool.
fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, what if it comes down like the sword came down in Power Rangers for the Megazord?
I was
Yeah.
just thinking
It
that.
came out of the sky and just lands in the ground, and then she goes over. Yeah,
That's
man.
exactly what I was thinking when Matt was saying it.
Oh, I'll take that. I'm having that. Yeah, I'll have that. I'll
Fucking
have
Rocha
two.
better be listening. Better make this happen.
Yeah,
Like a
Rocha
big
sharp.
fan, but you better, get this right.
Yeah, Rocha sharp and Scot. All you better be just paying attention. This is what we want. All right. So Justice League, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, not amazing, but good, solid. All right. Let's go to Batman issue 2 then, and have a look at this because obviously we spoke about issue 1 a couple of weeks ago, and this one starts with a solemn Grundy fight. We get some tease, which I didn't expect we were getting, but we actually get some nice setup and tease for the Night of the Monster Men crossover, which I liked. I know Matt's going to dig this because see when I got to, it was hinted at early on in the issue when the really cool scene where the guy slits his throat, which is one of my favourite scenes of the issue because it was so goddamn dark. But he said something was strange, and I was like, wait a minute, I've got a feeling Matt's going to be happy by the time we get to.
Yeah.
Well, at the time I didn't know it was going to be the end of the issue. Like, I was thinking, somewhere down this story, Matt's going to be happy. But we got the reveal at the end that Professor Hugo Strange is the mastermind behind whatever's going on with the Monster Men.
I had a feeling he had to be involved.
Yeah, I kind of assumed it wasn't him, partly because I think we thought he might be involved in Detective instead.
Yeah.
And also because the monsters in question from the previews, not previews, but the announcements were more kaiju sized, and the monster men that he was involved with in the past were always like just men who were,
right.
Wolfmen style kind of thing. But
yeah, here's my main problem with this issue is I felt like I missed something in between, because the way that the first issue ended with Batman meeting Gotham and Gotham Girl, and now all of a sudden he's working with them.
I do have some agreement with that. I feel like there might. I can see this being something that we get a flashback to later. Like
I hope so.
That moment right after the plane. I can see us getting that scene at some point.
It is a scene that I did want to see.
Yeah, it is a bit weird. It's a bit weird how kind of trusting he is of them right away.
That just might be this new Batman, where he's not just a what's it? I'm trying to think of the word where he just sticks to himself. Like that was a lot in Snyder's. He didn't ask for help too often. Yeah,
he really didn't. I agree with that complaint. I think I've seen some complaints about the voice being a little bit off, and I think there is a little bit of that here or there. The scene with Alfred where he's talking to Alfred and I think Lucius, and he says, "As for trusting them, I don't even trust Alfred." First of all, we know that's bullshit.
Yeah.
So I took that as him cracking a joke.
Right.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Well, and then Alfred plays off of that at the end, where he says, he wanted a sword for his 8th birthday, a katana, but I got him something more towards his size, and he's never forgiven me since.
Yeah, that's good.
Like,
He's been this way ever since. That explains all of Batman.
Alfred's sassiness in general in this issue is quite good. So he's got Alfred down. He's got Gordon down as well. Although one interesting thing that I want to note about Gordon, even though I think he's been perfectly portrayed, is that in the scene in the rooftop, he says something along the lines of, does wearing a mask make crime fighting easier? I thought it would be itchy. And I'm like, wait a minute. The entire last arc of Batman, you were in a Batman robot suit fighting crime.
That is a good point.
Which did have a mask. Technically a helmet, if you wanted to bear it, but the same thing, same difference. It covered the entire face.
They kind of want to
he
ignore...
had the mask underneath.
That's true, you're right. Yeah, he had a mask too. You're right.
That's why he shaved his head into that weird mohawk thing to make the
But
cowl fit better.
the funny thing is I'm not even really complaining. I'm almost glad that they're kind of ignoring that, because it wouldn't feel like Gordon without lines like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in a way, I'm kind of glad they're just kind of fuck the fuck acknowledging
Also,
that.
It's kind of what Rebirth has been doing anyway, like everywhere else, just cherry picking. Like,
Yeah.
well, we'll take most of Snyder's stuff, but whatever.
Yeah.
Just forget about
that's
it.
his.
They're not going to say it didn't happen, but it's just like.
I also like that he's smoking a pipe because it makes him more detective-like. Because it shows to like Sherlock Holmes and whatnot. It gives him something to do at his desk, so he's not just sitting there.
I always picture him with cigars.
Yeah. Well, that's Bullock to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I feel like Gordon can they'll share one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. I think Gordon's down quite well. As even in the scene where the guy slits his own throat to when he's warning him about the monster men. Just the start of that scene where he's like talking to his assistant, and she's like, "Yeah, your daughter is wanting to know when you're going to be there for dinner or whatever it is," and he's like, "Hour or two, hour or two, three at most, three at most." So that I think he's got Gordon down pretty well. He's got Alfred down pretty perfectly. Bruce is mostly fine. He's just a little bit too trusting of these two characters. That's the only thing for me that feels a bit.
I think see, now that we are talking about it, so I haven't talked about this really with anybody yet. I think they are going to go back, and there's going to be something that they show that happened in between the plane and Grundy, because this is very out of character for Batman. And anyone that's, even if you don't know about Batman, they point that out.
Yeah.
I think Gordon does, right? That he's taken to these new people without any vetting. So
I don't know. See, a lot of this Bruce feels like the animated series one to me, like the way he does his little jokes, like the sarcasm with Alfred, and that Batman is a little bit more trusting almost.
Yeah, but these are superhuman level, like. You know what I mean?
I feel like maybe. Yeah, but they haven't done anything wrong as of yet, and they did save his life on the plane.
That's right. Pardon me, I'm just using BVS logic that if they have superpowers, they must be as bad.
No,
My bad.
I do agree. I think it's just the way he talks to him. Like Goth, not Gotham man. He's just Gotham, but when he talks to him, it just sounds a little bit different to what I would expect. I'd expect Batman to be more apprehensive.
It's possible. I mean, I got the impression also that we skipped a couple of weeks in this.
Yeah.
And that they've been under surveillance. Like he's been watching everything they do. So they've obviously maybe been impressing
them on how they take down Grundy.
Yeah.
And he says, it would have taken him 1.3 seconds, and 0.7 seconds he would have trampled that hobo.
Here's a question, Matt. Did that scene bother you? Because I've seen people complain online that Batman taking down Grundy that easily is too overpowered.
Because Grundy is from Gotham, right? He's from Slaughter Swamp.
Yeah.
And so, if anyone's going to have experience taking down Grundy that quick,
it's him.
It is Batman. So that's not because Batman.
Also, what he does, he clearly uses Grundy's own momentum against him.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and again, that's Bruce knowing how to take.
To me, it was more the plane and him hopping on there. I had more problems with that than I did with Grundy because. And plus the whole nursery rhyme thing was pretty cool going through.
Yeah, I like that too. Cool. If I actually have one because Batman complaint, and I don't tend to have these too often, when he does the disappearing act on the roof, I don't have a problem with the disappearing act. I actually love that callback to Long Halloween and Dark Knight. If you haven't read Long Halloween, but you know it from Dark Knight, they called back to it in that as well. That he does that. My only problem with it all is they went a little bit too far, where they're both like, we have ultrasonic vision that can see through everything, and we can't see him. And Gordon's like,
I
that's not impossible, that's Batman. I'm like, okay, you're rubbing it in a little bit too thick now.
what I do like is the idea that with their their enhanced senses, that he's like slowed down his heart just to make this disappearance. So like,
Good,
they can't hear him, they can't see him because he's hiding behind something.
Yeah.
Yeah, assuming it's the same rules as Superman, he's got a lead wall that he's found.
Yeah.
he's crouched behind it.
He's just
taking
having some fun with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a little bit too far, but not enough to make me like throw the book. Like the Future's End issue made me want to throw it across the room.
I think the difference is if it had been playing that as a serious thing, it would be fucking infuriating.
Yeah, it was funny though. It was meant to be a
But
joke.
played as a joke, it's fine.
Yeah. And that's good because humor has been missing from Batman. And I feel like that's the remedy that it needs to be fun again.
Yeah, and there's humour throughout this issue, especially, which is cool. And of course, all this leads us to the reveal at the end of Hugo Strange, who, Fincher. We said with issue 1 that he's better here than he has been. What did I say?
Fincher.
I just said Fincher, but the way I just ran the two words together, so it just.
Gotcha. I thought you just.
It sounded like Fincher as well.
Yeah, I think it's because I said Fincher really quickly, so it sounded.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, no worries then.
But no, I actually really like how Hugo looks.
Yes.
That chin curtain that's much more masculine and impressive than one Connor has. Is really badass.
I agree, but he has one really. It's again. I think I complained about his Batman's leg in the last one. It's that arm, his left to right. When you look at it, it's got a weird like the bulge is just. It's not
proportional.
Right. Yeah. His head's fantastic though.
Oh yeah.
And, Amanda Waller's involved with what's going on here, which is interesting.
And don't forget the other guy. It's General Sam Lane.
Is that General Lane?
Yeah. Look at this name tag.
I didn't see that. Oh, so it does. Shit.
Yeah.
Huh. Ever.
And the guy that he's talking to, is that supposed? I don't know. I got vibes like it was Endgame Joker because of the haircut.
They call him Roger, don't they?
Do they? Oh, it is. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roger.
Well, that was just their art then because the whole angular to him and the back fade haircut, like.
You know what? I can't wait till this goes apeshit and Waller and Lane, who are both generally pricks, have to stand there and go, oh shit, we fucked up.
Yep.
We work with Hugo Strange.
Yeah, but they're not going to say that. They'll find an out.
Of course they're not, but part of me wants Batman to storm in and be like, look what you two did, you pair of tossers. Like, seriously guys, come on.
Also, from the last time we saw General Lane, this guy's bulked up, so he looks more like an imposing figure. And so does Amanda Waller. She doesn't look like Angela Bassett.
Yeah, she's not quite as big as she was, but she's getting closer to being the Wall. She's more of a Finch right now,
She's still, again, like Lane, she's an imposing figure standing there behind Strange. So, which I like. They should be.
She's a little garden wall right now. She's not the full wall yet. We'll
she's not the wall between America and Mexico. She's just like step below that.
Jeez,
that's a very porous wall. So.
Jeez. Actually, one last point I want to make. I'm just going back to the Alfred moment with the I don't even trust Alfred. I do want to point out that Batman in this universe clearly does, because in Justice League Rebirth issue 1, which we just talked about, he does actually mention that he trusted Superman that died. So, just for a bit of contrast there between the two. But anyway, I guess that'll take us on to Superman issue 2 by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, who shared writing and Gleason's on art.
I think they're both just classed as storytellers.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's that Gleason writes. It's that he just contributes so much to the story with his art that.
But it's worded differently than other comics.
No, they're both listed as they're credited as storytellers rather than writer and artist.
Let's see. And Wade and Somni do the same thing when they team up. So.
Yeah.
Worth noting though, it's different than everyone else. Everyone else is just this is the writer, this is the artist.
Yeah.
Which fair enough. I can see what they're doing. At the same time, I think though there's nothing wrong with distinguishing either. Like,
yeah, but I mean,
Man
if you're new to comics, if you're new to comics, it can be a little weird trying to figure out who's writing and who's drawing. But it's a little. We have the internet now, so it's not that hard.
Yeah. And it still
But the
follows
rest
the
of it-
general rule of writer then artist when they list
Right.
them.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But again, comics have enough hoops to jump through for new people. They really do. But yeah, Superman issue 2, Superman issue 1 was a smash hit with us when it hit a few weeks ago. We all picked it favourite of the week that week. So interesting to see if issue 2 held that quality. And while I would say that issue 1 was better, it's not because issue 2 is in any way weak or bad or anything like that. It's just that issue 1 was so freaking special feeling that issue 2 keeps up the quality. I just liked issue 1 a bit more.
I don't even know if I agree. I don't know which one I like more.
It's not by much. It's like a smidge. Like, I think I just like it was like fewer, simpler scenes in issue 1 that were like heavier. Whereas this, there was more stuff going on.
I'd have to really think about it to decide which one I think was better.
Do you know what I think it is? Because we introduced a villain in this one, or at least a potential villain. I'm assuming it's the villain.
Yeah.
It seems like the villain. And I think and there's nothing wrong with what they introduced villain-wise. I think it's done fairly well. But at the same time, we're interested in a villain almost slightly takes away from it, just because
you almost don't want a villain at all.
Yeah, it's like that's not what this is about, really. Kind of thing. And it could end up being
As
great.
a Superman fan, I don't care which one's better. I'm just glad they're both great.
Yeah, of course.
Like,
All of that was really just my way of saying the quality's held up. And anything I say about this not being as good as last week is not because there's anything wrong with this. It's just issue 1 was that fucking good. So issue starts with Superman taking John to a situation out, and they have a bit of a conversation about what happened at the end of issue 1. And Superman just explains, the League were there for me, and he's like calming him down, and he's like, right, watch and learn, son, I'm going to save this submarine, and oh dear, tentacles.
Yeah.
It's not quite a Kraken, but it's might as well be.
That's
just
the thing.
about.
I kind of wish there wasn't a villain and the whole series was just cleaning up messes like this, like small everyday things almost that Superman just does.
We're calling that character a villain, but that character's never really traditionally a villain.
No.
I think it's going to be more antagonistic, but I definitely feel like action's going to be the more plot-driven villains in the arc, and Superman's this more quieter, not, I don't want to say human because they're alien, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the quieter book with the Kraken.
Yeah. That's the territory with Superman, though, right? Like, fights.
That's kind of how impressive that this book is, though. That you can have a Kraken there, and it kind of feels like it doesn't even matter. It's kind of just insignificant in comparison to the relationships.
Yeah,
right.
But I'm sure we all want to talk about Superman getting John to use his heat vision because he has to hold open the thing so that the weak parts, out. And that panel after he blasts his dad instead because he's young and. Superman's basically, to go into some gaming terminology, Superman's like, get good. And then we get that wonderful, wonderful panel of him, like, the coat is, like, thrown open, and we see that he's wearing a Superman top.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty badass moment, and he uses heat vision on the thing.
I like what Clark tells him about, aim small, miss small. Trying to show him how to focus his heat vision. And it's like, for all the people that are complaining about Superman being a dad, this is much better than what we were getting because he's teaching.
I don't get all the people who look at this and go, oh, wait, super dad. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Idiots, read it.
We should take Super Dad back. Like, make it like this is a positive thing because it is.
Yeah.
Him being a dad is literally the best thing that has happened in years.
Well, and this is no different than Pa Kent taking Clark to go fix the fence on the back 40. Like, this is what their job entails now. So
It's no different. There's a Kraken, but it's no different.
No. Yeah, I mean spiritually, damn it. You know what I mean?
I'm being facetious, calm down.
I know.
But I love that when like Clark asks him about the top, which it turns out John's just bought it at a second-hand clothes shop.
Yeah.
He's like, what does this mean? Do you want to be called Superboy or something? Like, I like that stuff. And then we get the scene where he talks about the cat, and
Oh, poor Goldie.
this was deeply upsetting. And he's I was always expecting Clark to be understanding. I didn't think he would throw a fit. He's Clark, but he takes it rather well, you know, as he does. And this is when we get the first tease of the villain here. Also, you know, all this genome detected, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
All comes out. All a bit of setup. House of L, and we see that they've buried the cat, which is, you know,
It's nice. They had a nice little funeral.
it's a nice moment. I'm still all upset about the cat.
I mean, get over it. It's just a cat.
Well, either way, the hawk was going to make off with it.
Yeah.
Cat had no business being outside.
Cat was dead already. Just move on.
Yeah. All right. Possibly the standout scene. Possibly.
Oops.
Careful, Matt.
I'm sorry.
Possibly, because the opening with him ripping open the jacket to reveal the S and using his heat vision was badass. But the scene with his Lana, which, until I remember her name, I'm going to call her his Lana, it was quite good as well. And it also, I mean, in plot terms, it sets up an interesting little bit of mystery that John right now can still get hurt.
Yeah.
Which, is this just because he's this young? You know, because Lois brings up the whole idea that, well, wait a minute, he's getting heat vision and super strength, but he can still get scrapes and have concussions. Like,
right.
Is this because he's like half and half? Because obviously he's half human.
Yeah.
So are the rules different? Is he more vulnerable forever, like compared to what Superman is? Which is interesting. And maybe that's something that means that when he is in Super Sons with Damian, he isn't as like indestructible. So Damian's like, wait a minute.
But that's why I love it, because Damian acts like he's indestructible.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
But that puts him on a closer to level playing field than Bruce and Clark ever were.
Yeah.
You know, because he is a little bit more vulnerable.
And that's where it should be. I mean, he's still learning. He needs a learning curve. You can't just have, like 50 Superboy going and lifting up Mom and Pa's car just because.
Yeah.
Like this adds an interest to it that he has to be careful. He can't just be his dad and rush in, without thinking.
I really like the way that whole scene was structured as well, because you had it like paralleled with Clark and Lois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just fun because I think the bottom of that page, they're actually split up and like they do parallel in opposite directions. Like there's like a real nice symmetry of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I love as well that cause one of the things that occasionally is alluded to with Superman is that the powers come with puberty, and I love that when his Lana touches his hand, and he clearly, he reacts to that. Cute girls touching my hand. He breaks the tree branch with his with his hand. Dear, it was pretty good. So, an interesting scene actually when Clark actually gets a little bit angry.
Testy.
Yeah, just a little bit testy.
I liked it.
What I love more about him getting tested though, when the girl's grandpa's like try to be nice and be like, oh, we can get him in a truck, we can take him to the hospital. I like that Lois like calls him on it.
Yeah.
I really like that. I like that he can still be. He can be a dick. Like, it's possible. He's not immune to that. And Lois is the one person who will call him on it. At least if she's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think. I think Bruce would call him on it too. If Bruce is a present and Superman acts like a dick, I'm pretty sure Batman's going to speak up.
Although with Batman's propensity for secretism, like being secret. Like you kind of him going, hey, you don't got to be so aggro, but I get where you're coming from. But
yeah. But no, I like that.
She even calls him. She goes, I've seen you do the mild mannered thing, but this, angry dad.
I think it's dad. Really interesting as a new dynamic for Superman in general, because obviously we don't really get to see that side of him ever.
No.
Yeah.
So this is definitely something that should be interesting over the course of the series.
Because it's something new for him. Because it's something that Like, because he's never had a kid before, this is something that people naturally get overly protective of.
Yep.
It's this thing of, like Matt was saying, that it's the human series, because it's this thing that is relatable. Because obviously, people who are parents have to go through like, no one's a parent with the first time. You have to go through it new. Like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to learn it as you go. And even for Superman, the same thing applies. Like, you'll know, because obviously everyone knows basics, but until you're in the position, it's different, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. And they do a nice transition at the end where he's like, okay, the only place we can maybe find an answer as to why I can still get Hearts to Fortress, and that's when we get the little tease at the end of Eradicator forming into like a Supermanoid shape,
Yep.
claiming that he's going to fix Kal-El.
Shades of the 90s, but in such a good way.
Oh yeah. I think
The glasses, yeah.
It looks
Yeah,
cool
I
enough.
love those glasses.
Yeah, it looks cool enough, and I'm liking what they're setting up. But definitely the highlights for me were all the John stuff and the human parts of the book. And also it's worth mentioning the art is, again, really good.
That scene where they're standing at each other, talking. I've already made up my background. Someone took the dialogue off, so it's already on my phone.
Didn't take long.
No, of course not.
Well,
But no, it's...
I would half expect the cat funeral page might have been one of your new backgrounds.
No, not for me. For you, I'll send it to you.
That's
though,
too
Pete.
sad. Why would you want to be reminded of that every time you look at your phone?
Well, other than the funeral part, it's a very happy looking scene. You got the whole family
sure, the rest
there.
of the scene is, but then you've got to look at the cat funeral, and you got to go, oh yeah, a cat died. I mean, for me, it's like, sure, cat's dead. But for you,
Goddamn, Connor, you really don't have a soul.
hey,
Jesus
look,
Christ.
I used to be allergic to cats, and so I have like just a hatred of them. Like, they cannot come near me. So I have to like, ooh, just don't know, just cats.
Anyways, no, but yeah, Gleason's art really translates well. I was worried it wasn't going to translate as well, so he does the darker things better. You know, Green Lantern Corps,
It's
Batman.
these bright colors that really make it pop out.
Yep. So.
Nah, it's looking great. I think Superman continues to be one of our favourites.
Yep.
Yeah.
Out of the pack. All right, so that's Superman issue 2. Let's jump over to, speaking of good art, Green Arrow issue 2.
Yep.
By Ben Percy and art by Otto Schmidt. And I like this more than issue 1. Oh, this is a weird thing because we spoke with Green Arrow that Rebirth issue was essentially issue 1, which meant issue 1 was essentially issue 2. But you know what I mean? Like, this dealt with all the threads that were set up last time with Emmy betraying him, apparently, to help Shadow, and we get introduced to more of the villains, and sets up different things, and everyone's kind of split up. So instead of everyone being together this issue, we get everyone going forward in their own separate ways, and there's very little to complain about this time. I think I have one timeline complaint thing.
I got a couple to say.
You got a couple. All right, okay.
Yeah.
So Emmy and Shadow dump Ollie's body in the water, and we see the secret. I mean, it's huge. I don't know how it's secret, but the secret base in the water for the villain, which are called the Ninth Circle, which Shadow's working for and wants Emmy to get in on. So we see that. We also get a scene with well, if I've got another complaint, I suppose. Did we have to have John Diggle in the book?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. He was in it before and he was fine.
Yeah.
Here's
my thing with that is I stopped reading after Lemire left because those first 2 issues I read were I couldn't take it. So when I came back, when Percy took over, basically it was just Fife was his only supporting character left.
Yeah, Dig was gone.
And so when Diggle talks here, like he got fed up with Ollie and took off. That makes me interested in what had happened. But again, when I saw, personal security,
I was still playing that into the Lemire stuff, because in that, like, you first see Dig as a flashback. He was with Ollie before, and then he left, and he doesn't really come back into the team, does he? Kind of just there.
No, but he's there to help when when they're trying to take over Chinatown.
Yeah.
So he was part of Team Arrow there. So that's just a little bit inconsistency. Although if you're reading this for the first time, it's the first time you're reading Green Arrow, none of this really matters. Just a long time reader.
I don't think there's any confusion in this scene. He just you get that he's a personal security guy, and that's it. Like that.
He's supposed to be the best, but within 4 panels,
he
loses his mark.
Yeah, the guy he's protecting gets burned alive, right behind him.
It's not ideal, is it?
No,
not. Ben Percy's at the Johns level at creating villains. Like when Johns was on Flash early, he would just create all these cool new villains. And I feel Percy's doing the same with Green Arrow. Because now you have these burning men.
Yeah, they're called the Burned, and they're part of the Ninth Circle.
Yeah, you have the Ninth Circle, and you had I forget the guy's name, but he's set to be the new adversary for Ollie that took over the company.
Yeah. Company did.
We got him, so yeah.
Some of my favourite stuff on this actually might be the Black Canary scenes.
This is a bit where I don't understand why this is called Green Arrow and not just Green Arrow and Black Canary. Because even in the first 2 issues, at least all of her scenes were in context of with him. Right. This was her doing her own thing.
Yeah, she's got her own subplot here, even though it's related to Ollie, because she's looking to see what happened to him and whatever. Because she doesn't believe the lies they're saying in the news, which is nice. It's building up there.
Yeah.
How she sees him, even though she sort of left in a bit of a huff last issue. It shows how they are. But we get Ollie's assistant dude. What's his name? I forget his name.
Fife.
There you go. Him finding Ollie because of the beacon, which is actually Emmy's beacon, which makes me think that Emmy's actually not betrayed him, and she's.
See, I'm not entirely sure that she hasn't betrayed him. I think she did, but she's not committed to it.
Right. Okay.
She wants to go with her mother, and so she's because obviously she had that relationship. She wants that relationship, but she doesn't want to completely. She's not completely into it.
You may be right, but the point I was making that she's planked the beacon on him.
Oh yeah,
definitely. So that it will get found. So.
Well, and also, if she wanted to kill him, he would have been dead. There would have been just no fishing him out of the water. So she's not full go. I think it's not a deep undercover, but she's definitely gonna try to handle this.
Yeah, I see. That's the thing. I don't think it's an undercover thing at all. I think she just didn't commit to going that far.
No, we'll see. I can't see her just turning on her brother like that after all of this. Percy's gone out of his way to show their relationship in the Rebirth and in issue 1.
It's true.
I can't see her just cutting the ties.
Jesus Christ, Matt.
It's my mouse thing keeps sliding, so
dear.
I keep hitting it when I move my mouse. But anyways, no, my whole thing here is how many times are we gonna have a billionaire character that loses everything for them to start back from the bottom?
Specifically, Oliver Queen. It seems to happen
all the damn time.
Yeah, on a fairly regular pace.
And even if you've never read Green Arrow before, if you've seen the show, it happens every season. If you're familiar with Batman in any sense, it happens to Batman all the time. Can we just let the billionaires have their money and keep it off to the side?
I just want to point out, in the show, he's actually homeless right now.
Oh, good God.
That's how much they took away his money. So it'll be interesting to see how far this goes.
I agree with that they do this far too often. At the same time, I do like the scene where he goes to, I think it's his apartment building, and they're tearing it down. They're actually demolishing it.
I love the contractor guy. It looks at him just like he's a bum.
Yeah.
Clearly, I know he was out for a couple weeks, but you would think the guy would recognize Oliver Queen even if he's disheveled. But he's just yeah, that's a lot of people's house there, buddy. Say goodbye.
Actually, this is where my one timeline complaint thing, because after this scene of him seeing his apartment building demolished, there's a scene of Black Canary going to the police impound where the boat is that he was dumped off of, right? And I'm like, wait a minute. They said when he woke up that he'd been out for 2 weeks or something like that. There was
Yeah.
a line of dialogue. And the scene before that was Black Canary on the rooftop going, "Oh, I don't believe these news reports. I'm going to look into this." She waited 2 weeks to go and check
Well,
the
see,
boat.
this is where I got different from you, because I thought, who was it that picked him up again? Was it?
It was Fife.
Yeah, right. So they picked him up out of the water, but they just didn't bring that boat back. They left it there,
I guess.
and then
don't
it
know.
took a couple of weeks for the actual
because he
authorities
was-
to get it back.
Maybe because they dumped him from the boat, and he floated and washed up. That's where they found the beacon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So maybe they just found the boat later drifting.
yeah.
I guess. It was
Who
just weird
knows?
because it cut to that, and it felt like that should have been like the next night after we seen that, scene of Black Canary on the rooftop. Been like,
Yeah.
right, I'm going to look into this. And it just felt like, wait a minute, 2 weeks have passed.
Yeah,
What's she been doing these past 2 weeks? Sitting playing Angry Birds?
maybe
Like,
she was
what?
maybe she was following other leads that just didn't pan out, and there was no point in looking at them.
You know what? That
In this
wasn't.
universe, they got Pokemon Go too, so she was out.
By the way, I wasn't trying to intentionally make like a weird Birds of Prey pun, but I'll take it.
Well done, sir.
I'll take it anyway. And she finds the logo which was on the coins that go into all the Burning Men's victims when she does some Google searching.
It's terrible if you're a secret organization just leaving your logo on everything.
Not advisable.
No.
But I guess they wanted like people to know there's some sort of organization that are making all these kills and
That is a good
Yeah.
point. It's like you've got to leave a mark so that you're aware that this is a threat and like
Yeah,
you're in control.
it's like Home Alone 2, the sticky bandits. You have a signature.
Sure.
We're not the Wet Bandits anymore. We're the Sticky Bandits.
Exactly. Exactly. And a calling card. Joker leaves playing cards behind with his, the Joker cards on it.
Yeah. What's the
Because he
point?
wants
in
Batman
doing
to
something?
chase him, though.
Yeah.
This is a secret organization. The Court of Owls don't leave calling cards.
That's true.
Well,
That's
no.
all.
But clearly, the Court of Owls are better than this Ninth Circle.
Aye. And I'm tempted to count the circles in this logo and see if there's actually 9 of the bloody things. I don't believe there is. I think there's more. But
Count it now. Have to look.
let's get to the bottom of this. Let's get some proper sleuth action going on here.
Like, there goes.
I actually think there is 9 because one of them overlap. Like,
Oh my god. What is going on?
Well, we're establishing what a fraud this 9 circle is. They're leaving their calling card like a bunch of idiots, and their calling cards not even get the correct number of circles.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it is 9 or not. I can't tell.
Also,
Well, then we'll tag Ben Percy on this,
Yeah.
and he can tag Otto Schmidt,
yeah,
and
When
we'll get to the bottom.
when she googles it. Oh, by the way, I liked it. The Google caption, or well, not Google. You know what I mean? Whatever she's using, the search engine caption says, "Did you mean this?" Because Google does that all the time with people.
Yeah.
And it says 9 circles of hell. Now, I always seem to remember Dante's Inferno being 7 circles of hell. Am I wrong? Was it 9?
That's 9.
Is it 9?
It's 9. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. That's just my memory then.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
The 7th circle always pops up in fiction.
Is that why I'm
for
thinking
being-
7?
I think so,
Yeah.
for being, like, the most horrific.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I
Something.
like that they're at least naming themselves like after the circles of hell though. I like that.
Yeah.
That's the question. Are there 8 other circles, like subsections of the gang?
I think they just mean that they're the
worst.
the hell. Yeah, they're
Yeah, yeah.
down at the bottom.
But
they're
how
the hell.
cool would it be if like this is the American branch, say, and there are other ones around?
What? So the first circle just like we'll maybe slap you, but we're not that
Well,
evil.
The first circle gets somewhere really small and shit as an area, whereas the 9th go, we're having America. This is a pretty big area. We'll take this.
I was going to make a UK joke, but I'm just not at that level yet.
I was wondering which level we were going to
Yeah.
get when you were playing
Yeah.
Well, we were the 8th circle, but then Brexit happened, so now it's
at like 4.
oh dear. Aye. So the book end, Ollie Five basically tells Ollie, "Look, you're not rich anymore. I can't work for free. Piss
What a
off."
prick.
I know.
Although I'm thinking this just might be a cover because he knows they're being watched. and Fife's gonna show up and help because you feel if it was that important they would show it instead of just over the phone.
It was a bit weird. It felt very like. Admittedly, I don't remember much about the character from what I read from like Lemire's run and stuff, but I don't remember
He worked for him for free almost the whole time.
Yeah, because at that point, so it started off he didn't have a job at all. He was living in his mom's basement because he got fired from Queen Industries.
Queen, right?
And then, I was like, yeah, help me out. Come on, then. So he did. And then I'm pretty sure they were like living in a van for a while.
Yeah. Mm. And then he was living above, in the last one, he was living above the Chinese place.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, again, he's been working for free for a while. So, yeah, I just think this is a plot point that's going to... We're not going to do what, to Percy, what happened to Nick Spencer, and get all pissed off because we don't have the full story,
Aye.
So, I'm sure there's payoffs. This is the second, or depending on how you look at it, third issue.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure, like, even if it is like a character thing, even if it is genuine, they'll, like, maybe we'll get a reason why he has had a change of heart, like, or something like that.
Yeah. There's a thing where I can accept a few things like that in the first few seasons of the series when they're setting the board for their own game. It's like, this is what it was before, but I want this. It's like, well, fine, you can rearrange a few pieces. Like, it doesn't really matter. Break a couple of rules. Do what you want as long as the story going forward is good.
Right.
Yeah. So, we got Dinah, investigating, and Ollie suits up at the end, being like, "All right, everyone's fucked off. I guess I'm a solo warrior here," and suits up. So it's kind of an in between issue. It's kind of just like gets all the pieces from the last issue, puts them into new places for the next one. I think it was a solid read though. I enjoyed it. I thought it was better than the last issue because I feel like I had less problems. The Rebirth issue is still the best one though. I think out of the three.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Probably.
Yeah. But no, it's still a solid series. Still very good. It's a standout for a lot of people, and I think that's...
It's completely fair if you choose this as your favourite series at the minute. But I wouldn't really hold it against you.
Yeah, I think he's preemptively saying that, so we don't give him shit later.
Get him on it, yeah. Because anyone that doesn't say Superman, I want to kick in the teeth. So.
Oh dear.
That's just my bias.
Alright, well, let's keep it green and jump over to Green Lanterns issue 2. Written by Sam Humphries, art by Robson Rocha. And we, like, for both the past weeks we've had Green Lanterns, we've all unanimously put it at the bottom of the list. Mm-hmm. Like both times. I do think this is the best issue of this so far.
Yeah.
It's the best and it's the worst, depending.
Well, it's the best for the reasons why I like it. It's the best because it focuses, like, the first 2 pages I would happily just trim out the book because it's, oh, Red Lanterns, blah blah blah, we're going to take over Earth, blah blah blah, alright, done, back to Earth. Like, that's basically what
they could have ended the last issue with that.
No, the problem is those 3 pages or whatever they are some, in my opinion, the worst of the series yet.
But what they do after that is we home in on Jessica, who has long hair, as she's supposed to. Unless she gets a haircut at the end of this arc. And that's why in Justice League she's got shorter hair.
That would explain it.
That would explain it. And if that's the case, then fair enough. But right now, it just seems inconsistent.
Maybe it's one of the ways she deals with her anxiety is she goes to an actual hairdresser's. She goes and gets a haircut in public.
It's actually weird. Just to go on a slight tangent here, we recorded a review earlier for the new episode of Killjoys for Almost Cancelled on the Multiverse TV channel, and we spent like half that episode talking about how half the women's hairstyles had changed between episodes, and it was completely unbelievable given the situations they were all in. But whatever. But back to Green Lanterns. Yeah, so this focused mainly on Jessica and her own anxiety, and I really like Jessica as a character. And I thought this did, because it spent so much time focusing on her and her wanting to save her sister, and then a flashback to her and Jessica, to Jessica and her sister Sarah, when she like first got her ring and she's like showing it off and like she can fly and all that in the backyard, and I really liked all that stuff. And plus it also taught us, I don't know if they'd mentioned this yet, that she can't make constructs.
No, but I like
they
that.
hadn't.
I like that too. I like that she's in a bit of a learning curve and she can't do that yet. Like, she can blast with her ring, she can fly with the ring, and have the costume, but she can't actually physically make a construct yet. And I think that's actually a really cool touch. That also, at least for the time being, separates her power set from Baz, who also has this new thing where you can see like glimpses of the future.
Yeah.
But no, I really liked a lot of this. I liked them bickering whilst he comes in his big green truck, and I liked her fighting him off and going back to try and help. But the standout for me was the scene in the backyard with the sisters and her showing off her powers and be like, right, don't embarrass me, Ring, make me look cool. And just
I really like the ring itself. Like it has like this conversation with her, and it's like playing it. It's when you have comedy, but one person plays it really straight, as if it's not a comedy, and it just makes it funnier.
Yeah, the Ring's a straight man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it is, and I really like that.
I will say, like, I think the art is actually pretty decent for the most part. Like, I think it looks good, with some exceptions of some faces, and in the scene with the sisters, there is one particular panel on the top right. I think it's the last page of the flashback. It is, where both sisters look like the fucking Joker. I don't know what's going on with those
truly
smiles.
look proper evil, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with their smiles there, but they look like the fucking Joker. I don't
It's
know
not
what's
even just
going
that.
on.
It's like her hand's on top of her head, and it looks like a witch's hand.
It does. Like, they look proper evil. I don't know what's going on with that art there. Because I think when they're in costume and stuff, and they're doing all their Green Lantern stuff, it's pretty good. It's fine. It's not.
Yeah, I really like it for the most part.
It's not a standout of the week, but it's certainly,
I gotta see this panel now.
Matt wants to see this page. He's determined to find it now.
Yeah.
It is proper like evil witches.
Yeah, I don't know what's going. Especially Jessica. Jessica looks like the Joker. If you paint her face white.
What scene is this in again?
So it's in the flashback just after she's like trying to fly and she's fell down.
It's where they're
Gotcha.
staring up at like
Aye.
all the green.
Yeah, the Northern Lights sort of looking page. The top panel on that one.
Oh, jeez.
I'm kicking things.
I need to start looking at these closer because I usually just read the dialogue and
I can
the
see
pictures.
it now. Everyone listens to this is quickly flicking through their issue again like,
Yeah.
oh shit, it is really evil.
Yeah, they look demented. And it really stuck out to me when I was reading. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Hi.
God, next time just point the eyes down. It won't look as bad.
Even in the page before that, Jessica's sister looks a little bit evil, but she's got her arm over her shoulder. And I don't know. I think Rocha just needs to practice
Smiling.
Yeah, practice his smelling females a little bit more, just because they look a bit demented.
Just keep them neutral.
Yeah, rest in bitch face. If in doubt, rest in bitch face.
Maybe even just a less toothy smile.
So Skype is a dick, basically, and cut us off. So where were we then? Yeah, so creepy Joker faces, and Baz basically wrestles Jessica out and flies her out into space for the final cliffhanger of what's going on, and they see that a big part of the planet has been covered in the Red Lantern logo, and we get the sense that this rage thing, that the machine that they kicked off with the last issue, the Hell Tower, is infecting like rage inducing everyone around it.
Here's my thing. I like the Rainbow Corps. I like when it's written by Johns and it's handled well. I do not like when other people try to do this. It feels so silly and weird. It's called a Hell Tower. I just think about that.
See, the thing is, I wouldn't even mind other people doing it in like 3 years.
Yeah.
Just do something different. Do something of your own.
We just need a break.
Well, like we just praised Green Arrow for creating villains. Do something yourself. Do something original.
Yeah.
Don't just go, well, this was successful for 10 years, so let's just do this.
Hopefully, the second arc will maybe dive into that territory a little bit more.
I hope so.
I really hope so, because Jessica's quickly becoming my favourite Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm. She's not beat Hal for me yet. Like
Not
Hal,
yet, but like this keeps up.
Yeah, I'm really liking Jessica too.
Oh.
And she this issue is definitely the best of the three because of its focus and not only her specifically, but just the character side of it.
Yeah.
Is what most of this is. So No. So I like this one more than the last two issues, but the complaints about I could be doing without the Red Lanterns
Yeah.
is
And their motivation for starting, like, I know Atrocitus's origin, and his whole sector was wiped out by the Manhunters. So you're gonna go wipe out a whole planet?
Yeah, I don't understand what's his
Yeah.
reason for any of this.
Because
That's what I don't get.
Because I think Yzmalt's dying, and he can't sustain the Red Lanterns anymore. How
so
about... So
so
that means I'm Yzmalt, because I can't sustain the Red Lanterns anymore. So, like...
oh dear.
But yeah, I think we just need a break from all of that, and I think once Humphries can get away from that, and I mean, if we find out that the next arc is the Indigo Tribe, I'm gonna throw something.
That's the thing. It's like if this
Yeah.
is more Rainbow Corps stuff after, I'll feel like I'll want to drop it because I don't know
Yeah.
how much more of that I can take. But then,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm really loving Jessica, so I'm going to want to stick with it. And now, then I have an actual dilemma.
And see, and this is where I find that DC gets you more than Marvel does. Is Marvel gets you with writers? Like, I don't care who the character is. I'll read anything by Jason Aaron. Like, I don't care about Doctor Strange. I've been loving that book. But when it comes to DC, I care about the characters more than I care about the creatives. So then I'll stick it out on the Rainbow Corps stuff because I like, Jessica and Simon and whatnot. More so than Humphries.
I'll definitely give them more rain than I would Marvel, but there is still a
Exactly.
limit. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean the good thing is this arc will be done in about a month and a half.
yeah.
Because we're double shipping, so if it's 6 issues long, say, we'll get to the end of this arc really quickly. So we'll
We'll
know.
be done by the end of August.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
know pretty soon. By
See,
you know,
yeah, I thought I was gonna hate the double shipping because it's you're trying to stay on top of everything, but when you remember that, like you'll get out of these bad storylines quicker, and like the Monster Men stuff's already being teased in Batman, and that stuff's coming in September.
yeah, I'm
right?
liking that. Yeah,
So like again, they're doing it in a way that keeps me interested, and you're not just like, oh, Batman again. It's like, oh no, look what we have to look forward to.
I think it all comes down to if you're enjoying what's going on, you love that it's double shipping because
Yeah.
great, I get the next part sooner. But if it's one that you were thinking of dropping, then you're like, yeah, this is just more of a reason to drop it because I clearly don't want 2 of these a month. If I'm already thinking that I don't want it,
Yeah.
so it's just kind of weird the way it works out. But
Yeah.
so no, that's Green Lanterns, and obviously we're still sticking with it. And despite complaints, some complaints, there's definitely some stuff in there I like, and I'm really liking Jessica. So maybe this is the first week where it won't unanimously be the bottom book. We'll see. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I mean, if that's the low standard, then we're not doing too bad. Alright, so next up, that'll take us on to the final book of the week, and that is Aquaman issue 2 by Dan Abnett and Scot Eaton. And this is the shortest gap from the previous issue because this was actually in the opposite weeks before, and it's changed to the Batman Superman week as opposed to the Action Detective week. That's how I'm going to differentiate them. Just because
Makes sense.
Easy way to do. So yeah, Aquaman issue 2. Last issue we had Black Manta plant a bomb in the embassy and attack Mira. Aquaman and Black Manta get into a fight, and that's kind of where we left off. And this issue is mostly their fight with some flashbacks and other little things peppered, but it's mostly them going mano a mano and Aquaman doing a badass thing where he plants a harpoon that's in his shoulder. He throws himself into a wall so the harpoon's in the wall, and then pulls himself off the harpoon.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I don't know why he just didn't pull it through. Because, like, once it's already through the back, right? You can't pull it back out the other way. So I don't know why you just didn't go the other way. But
he wanted to show Manta that he's that badass. It's like, bring your worst.
Yeah, he wanted the Royal Navy chick to be like, bloody hell. Like, because
It's crikey.
Is it? She says bloody hell.
Does she do bloody hell?
Next page, because he actually spells it out in that really stereotypical British way.
Oh,
yeah. Bloody hell. Like,
she says crikey when they start fighting.
Yeah.
And Aquaman's fighting with this harpoon going through his shoulder. But, yeah, hot damn. Aquaman being badass.
Yeah, you know what? I reread all these before we recorded. Like I always
Mhm.
do this now. I reread everything again before we record, and this issue it went up a little bit for me when I reread it.
Hmm.
When I first
Interesting.
read it, I finished it and I thought, I mean, that was fine. Like I enjoyed it. Like I have no real big complaints, but at the same time, I felt like, and I do have one major complaint that I still have, but
Mhm.
the flashbacks played better for me the second time. I felt like, all right, I like that they're sort of tying this back into the start of the cycle of vengeance
Yep.
and why it's there, and um, I like the Royal Navy officer again. I like the fight's mostly pretty well done. The badass moment we spoke about, the Atlantean sort of officers like dealing with getting the public off
And Merc, yeah, Merc saying like they have to, even if they don't like them.
yeah,
This is only going to make it worse if we
yeah,
don't help them.
I
yeah,
think I really just love the Aquaman Manta relationship. The whole you can't kill each other sort of thing.
Yep.
We see it all the time. It's
yeah,
classic superhero stuff, but it always works.
yeah.
But
Well, that's
here
actually
it's personal because I can see Manta snapping finally, like when he's got
mm,
nothing else left to lose, and just full going at
Yeah.
Aquaman.
this is actually my one problem with the issue is I think Manta deciding not to kill him doesn't like it's a little bit too easy, and like if this was the end of the arc and they'd been building to this and I got where Manta was, but because it's only issue 2 and because the last time we seen Manta it was like I'm going to tear you down piece by piece and I'm going to start with Mira, and he basically just ignores Mira. Like Mira's knocked out and British
But
chick takes her away and he's like, well, I'm just going to attack Aquaman now. Like it just feel like
See, this is gone.
I was just gonna say I just took that as no, he changed plans after seeing the embassy go up. He's like, I'm just gonna take him out now. And I still think because now with the way this ends with this group coming and talking to Manta and bringing him into the fold, I think he can destroy Aquaman, kind of like Kingpin destroys Daredevil, where I don't have to kill you, I'm just gonna hurt you.
Yeah, see, that's what I got as well. Like this whole thing where he accepts that he's not killing him.
Yeah,
It was like he took the opportunity he had with the embassy, and he would have gone for Mira and made it slow, but it was like, well, he's here, I'll take it. But
yeah,
when he's having this conversation, Aquaman was like, "You can't kill me." He's like, "Yeah, I do want it to hurt more,"
yeah.
and that's why he stops.
Death's too quick.
Yeah,
see, you say that, and I can see that
Mm-hmm.
in terms of motivation, but I don't actually get that from the conversation they're having.
Oh, see, I bought Manta's frustration
Because,
because that's a man that thought he had it all planned out and went, ah, son of a bitch, he's right.
yeah,
because
So,
because basically Aquaman's whole speech to him when he like turns the trident on himself and he's like, right, fine, do it. He's like, you'll have nothing left once you do this.
yeah,
You know, it's more about him like questioning what he's even doing, and then he doesn't kill him. And for me, I just felt like had this been at the end of an arc and we built to this, I would have bought it a lot more. But it just feels a little bit too neat and easy.
See, that's the thing. You say, "Oh, it feels too easy." I think that's exactly what it is. Manta's like, "No, this is too easy." He lives on the hunt as much as he does actually killing Aquaman.
yeah,
So that's why he's
yeah.
like, "Nah, fuck this. This is too easy."
But yeah,
I get what you're
it's-
saying, but just when I read it, it didn't play that way to me.
This is the most I've liked Aquaman since John's left.
Yeah, me too.
And Parker, I liked the Parker run. That was a lot of fun. Like, I mean, he was time hopping and fighting the gorillas of Gorilla City and stuff. Like, it was just so weird. But like this with the personal and where it's heading, because now the whole Abnett spent an arc setting up Spencer Station, and now it's been destroyed. Right? There's no way humans are gonna want to go visit it once it's rebuilt because now it's a threat.
Yeah. That obviously everything that it does with that is
So just as the public was starting to like Aquaman, they're like, oh no, now what's this mean now? So it's almost
everything.
it's almost
everything
Yeah,
is
go
set
ahead.
up in that sense is quite good because it's again tarnished this attempt to build a connection
right.
because now everyone's going to be on edge. Everyone still thinks that even though the person who's actually caused it is a human, like
Right.
like it's still going to be seen as like, oh, it's not safe anymore. No, I mean, I enjoyed the issue. I thought the fight was well done. I thought it had the badass moments. I liked the flashbacks and setting everything up. I guess I just didn't. I think maybe it was just the dialogue in the scene where he decides not to kill him that just didn't quite sell me on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost fizzles, but I bought the frustration of Manta. And I think that's key. If you don't buy that frustration, then it is, like Pete's saying, it just kind of is like, okay, well, it's too easy. But I totally bought he just screwed up my plan, and he flips the table.
Yeah, because you see him throw the trident, and then he literally he punches the water. Like he's angry that he's right. He hates that he's right.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
All right. And of course, the end, and someone gets the police car that Manta's in has just been taken off. And do we know who this lady is? Does anyone have an idea? No. Okay, so some villainous looking lady. Looks like she's going to enlist the help of Manta.
It's very Deadshot-esque, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a Deadshot kind of eye thing. She's also got them all over her top. So.
And look at the guys that she's with.
They're
too. They
like flash things. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely interesting. I can't wait for the next issue.
So this is obviously a new group of villains that they're introducing here. So we'll see how this pans out. But no, it was a fine issue. I just had that one kind of problem with it, where that thing didn't quite click for me. But it worked better on a second read. So
it's a shame that the problem is the climax of the issue as well, because that kind of drags it down for you a bit more, I suppose.
Yeah,
than it would if it was different.
I think that's why on the first read I felt a bit more negative about it. But when I read it again, everything else worked quite well. So it was just that one moment didn't.
Yeah.
So no, that's all the books. So I guess we're left to rank. And we'll still rank up. It's only 6. We'll get to a point where we've maybe got like 10, 12 books, so we'll probably just do like a top 3 or 5, rather than doing the whole...
I think 5 is a nice round number.
Yeah,
5 and then a bottom one, I think.
Which in this case is all 6.
Yeah, but when we have like 12, do a 5 and a bottom one.
Right, 5 and a bottom
Shit,
one.
if it gets to the point where I'm reading 12 DC books, my wife's gonna be on me.
It's only a matter of time, Matt.
Yeah.
Just get a shot saying holding the line at 2.99 and just that's all you need. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
All right, so Connor, you go first.
All right, you're safe. Superman's top.
Right.
Just get that out there before someone tries to stop me.
Yeah,
You don't want to get kicked in the teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
of course.
I don't think we really need to say why, because it's
You already
obvious.
did.
No. Second, I'm going to go with Green Arrow, then Batman, then Aquaman, then Justice League, then Green Lanterns.
Oh, man.
Right.
Yeah. But then again, like so, Green Lanterns, it's just there was too much red stuff still. It annoys me. It actually puts me in especially when it's at the start of the issue like that, it kind of puts me in a bad mood. And then it has to work to redeem itself. If that came at the end, it's like, well, the rest of it was good. But with it at the start, it's like the rest of it's working to redeem itself of this stuff at the start. So it's just like, But, still pretty good.
Connor Ryan, you have the ability to instill great hate.
Welcome to the Red Lantern Corps.
But dumb.
No. Welcome to the Ginger Corps.
There you go.
I'll take it.
They're even worse because you can't put them in the sun.
Oh dear. Matt, what's your?
Yeah, so of course Superman's number 1. For all the reasons I said. And then I'm going to go Aquaman because I really did enjoy it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then Batman. Oh no, Green Arrow. Because again, the whole... And it's not for the other reasons, I forgot. But the whole Ninth Circle stuff is pretty cool. And I'm interested to see where that goes. And then Batman. And then Green Lanterns. And then Justice League. And with Justice League, it felt like a whiff to me. I'll be more excited once Tony Daniel steps up on art. Because at least then I'll have, pretty pictures to look at if the story's not as good.
Well, you got 2 weeks to wait, so not.
Yeah. Not
All
too
right.
much.
So my list, Superman's number 1, making it the twice in a row the unanimous pick for everyone, which is kind of special. So Superman #1, then I'm going with Batman. Really liking the Night of the Monster Men stuff they're setting up, and the humour throughout and all that. Then Green Arrow, for obvious. I feel like there's no even point in explaining them. We've all deeply discussed why they're all where they are. Then Justice League for me at #4.
Oh man.
Because, like I say, fun romp. I had good fun with it. Green Lanterns, #5, and then I'd put Aquaman in last place this week.
Damn.
Still liked it. So
we all had different last place issues.
Yeah. 2 of us didn't have Green Lanterns in last place, so that's definitely improved.
Yeah. Well, and that's good because you never want everyone on the podcast to have the same exact.
Yeah. I will say,
thoughts.
I may have had it last again. But everything else improved, and it did improve, but everything else improved as well. So it's
you're fine.
The bar's just actually higher.
It was my second to last, so it was very...
Don't worry, it's only a few weeks until Lobdell cometh.
Oh, yeah.
The bar will be lowered. Don't you worry.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to suit up for that one.
That will legit be the first book that I'm pretty sure we're all unanimously at the end just going to go, not dropping this then? Yep, no next one.
That's the book where I'm not even... I'm mentally preparing myself. I'm having a whiskey, before I read this thing. It's like, I'm going into this ready.
I don't know how much Lobdell you've read beforehand. Some of his stuff on Red Hood before wasn't completely terrible. So, what if it's actually not terrible?
It wasn't good though, was it? It wasn't terrible.
No.
It wasn't all terrible, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
good.
like his Starfire storyline where they got taken up and they had to fight her sister Blackfire and all that. And we got to see Starfire actually be a badass. That was cool. But that was one arc.
I kind of hated his Starfire.
Yeah. Other than that one arc, right? So, and it took a little while. That was the third arc, I want to say. So, I'm just saying.
How long did you stick with that?
To be fair, no, I read that as well.
Yeah.
Nah, I read one issue of Red Hood at the start of New 52.
Bro, at the New 52, I was in Stockholm Syndrome. I read Teen Titans for far too long, Superboy for far too long.
Oh, I read 2 issues of Superboy.
I wanted it to be good. That was my own problem because I'm a Connor Kent fan, and that was not any.
That wasn't.
Less said, the better. No, we haven't had Connor Kent since the New 52 started. So.
Yeah, well, that's a few weeks off yet before we hit that wonderful low bar. But next week, I like to tell you what's coming next, and we have 3 new books next week. We have Nightwing Rebirth issue 1 coming. The impending arrival of Dick is upon us.
The Dick is coming. Is that what you're saying?
The Dick is coming. I cannot wait for Dick to come. It's exciting stuff. So Nightwing Rebirth issue 1.
Oh my god, that phrasing.
That took you a few seconds, Matt.
I did.
It did.
We also have new Superman issue 1, so that'll be interesting. That's a completely fresh thing. We got Chinese Superman, see how that pans out. We have Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps Rebirth issue 1, which we're not particularly excited for, but obviously we'll give it a chance and we'll see how it starts. And of course, on top of those 3, we have Action Comics 959, Detective Comics 936, The Flash issue 2, and Wonder Woman issue 2. Most anticipated for me next week is Nightwing, for the obvious reasons. But obviously, I'm actually looking forward to all 4 of the ones that we've already had. They're all good.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. See, I was really thinking, it's going to be Detective Comics. I'm really looking forward to that. But Dick's coming, so.
Yeah.
Hashtag, but Dick's coming.
It's going to be good.
We're all Dick fans here.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah, we all love Dick. So that's what's coming next week. So yeah, that brings us in. Now before we get to the usual plugs, because we usually plug Twitters and other shows and stuff, we want to give a special plug to a certain Kickstarter that just launched actually today, the day of recording, and that is our friend Tim Vergulish, who you will find on the Screams After Midnight horror podcast that I do with him on the Melfuzz Movies YouTube channel and on your podcast services and so on. He also does comic books. He writes and occasionally draws, but he has put up a Kickstarter for a comic that he's written called Veterinary Clinic. It is a horror comic, so go and please check that out and see if you'd be interested in supporting it. Because he's a good friend, and he's a part of the Mailed Fuzz team.
Yes.
And he has dreams, and one of the perks, admittedly, you have to be living in the California, Los Angeles area, and it does cost quite a lot, but one of the perks for Kickstarter is that he will personally deliver pizza to your house. So if that's not something worth grabbing, I don't know what is.
And if you know Tim, if you've seen him on pretty much any podcast, you'll know how much pizza means to him.
Now, I assume that the pizza itself is paid for in the perk. I think it'd be quite scummy for Tim to show up with a pizza and be like, that'll be $12, please.
Although, playing the part of Pizza Man, I don't think he would pass that up as a joke.
Yeah. That's a very Tim thing to do, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I really wish I lived in LA because I totally would buy that. Like,
also, I would probably just do it so I could be a dick, and when he arrives with the pizza, go, yes, I'll have pizza. You know, it'd probably be nice for me to offer you a slice, wouldn't it, Tim? Bye. Shut the door.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, I'm not in Los Angeles, so I cannot take the opportunity. I'm also poor, and that's quite an expensive perk, that one.
Yeah.
Rightfully so, and there's a limit of 10 people. He might have to end up delivering 10 pizzas to 10 different people.
Yeah.
That'll be like every day after work for like almost 2 weeks for him, you know?
Crazy bastard.
Yeah. So go check it out and see if you want to support it. Obviously, being a comics podcast, it's exactly the sort of place we're going to plug that. We're probably going to mention that for the next 4 weeks because it's got like 35 days left on its day. We won't talk about it as much as this for the next 4 weeks, but we will mention it again. So go check it out. So now that you've done us the given us the respect of sitting through that, we will very quickly do the rest. Alright, so you can tweet at us, mailed_fuzz. You can also email us, mailedfuzz@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought of the books this week, either on the comments below on YouTube, or you can get us on those places. Obviously, you can talk to us personally on Twitter, at Wibble89 for me, at MattofSteel57 for Matt, at ConnorRyan94 for the ginger one. Why do you want to talk to him? I don't know, but you might.
Hey, people do, and you know it.
Yes, he does. We talked about Green Day's Dookie last night.
What a great album.
Yes, that is.
Sure.
Oh, Pete.
I'm not a Green Day fan, I'm sorry.
We need to have some talks.
Don't get me wrong, they're better than a lot of the other punk shit you listen to, Matt, admittedly.
Whoa.
But
Oh, shots fired. Shots fired.
because you like do you like Fall Out Boy?
Yes, I do. Early Fall Out Boy. Don't get me started on their new shit.
Are
That
you a fan of...
Ghostbusters song is the worst thing I've ever heard. I thought that was hyperbole, and then I listened to it. Yeah.
Ain't afraid of no ghosts, but I'm afraid of that song. Yeah, let us know what you think of the books this week. We always like to hear from you. Check out the other stuff. We mentioned Screams. You can check out the regular movie stuff. 1.21 gigawatts. All the TV stuff we do and almost cancelled. Find them on the 2 YouTube channels. Mailed Fuzz Movies, Mailed Fuzz TV. In fact, you're on one of them right now for this, possibly, if that's where you watch it. Or your podcast services, and yada yada yada. I sped through them as quickly as I possibly could. Thank you very much for listening and or watching. We appreciate it a lot. Bless the Lord and Saviour that is Jeff Johns. And if you're on the audio, I did do like a cross sign as I said that. Well, hey, he resurrected Hal Jordan.
He resurrected
Barry
the
Allen.
real DC universe.
Anyway, that's true, yeah. Well, no, technically it was Grant Morrison that resurrected Barry.
Yeah, but you know who told him to do it.
True.
It wasn't.
I'll agree there. But it was in Final Crisis, so Grant gets the direct rating credit.
He at least
for
gets
it.
co-credit on
Yes, we'll give him. I'll deal with that.
Yeah. But yeah, let us know what you think. Thanks very much for spending the last 90 minutes with us, or more or less, wherever we're at. And remember, guys, whatever you do, don't get lost in the Speed Force.
And long live the Legion.